Three, two, one, here we go. Rainman's Take podcast. Observations on the world we live in. My take on current events and other topics of interest. Also interviews with some really cool people. So let's get the conversation going. Hey, everybody, it's the Rain Man. Just want to give a quick shout out to everybody watching. Thank you very much. I know you're going to find this next interview thought-provoking. I enjoy spending time with people like my next guest and getting into more detail about the subject matter. And I know you appreciate that as well. So go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. That way we can continue bringing you great content in the future. So thanks again for being part of Rain Man's Take and enjoy the interview. Hey, everybody, it's the Rain Man. I want to welcome in my guest, Karen Lorenzo. What is happening?
Everything.
Nice. All right. First, couple of firsts for the podcast. One is she's my first female guest, and you'll see why in a minute. She's a very, very interesting individual. And two, it is almost 9 o'clock at night on a Sunday night. So
midnight my time.
Midnight East Coast time. She's coming in from New York. So by quick introduction here, and this is the reason why I wanted to have her on. So Karen Lorenzo is my wife's best friend from college, and obviously one of my best friends as well, because we all went to college together. We've known each other forever. And Karen lives in New York City and is it lead counsel? Is that your
general counsel?
General counsel. Okay. Mm-hmm. She's general counsel for a organization called LOVB. And no, what's it called?
That's her name. It's League One Volleyball. And okay. the logo looks like LOVB. So it's love. We say love, but League One Volleyball.
Got League One Volleyball. Mm-hmm. Now, why this is interesting is it is actually a professional league that they are basically starting from scratch. So it's a brand new startup group. Yep. And I found that fascinating. So we're going to get into that, obviously, as the main meat and potatoes of the interview. But first, so Karen came out because she's got business in LA this week coming up, but she came out this weekend, and her and her son Liam joined Mimi and I for the Shelter to Soldier annual fundraising gala, which was on Saturday night. And as many of you know, I'm very involved with that organization. And Saturday night was our annual. Everyone gets dressed up, has a great time, and we raise money for the for Shelter to Soldier. And I highly recommend you check them out at www.sheltertosoldier.org. So, first question up is, what'd you think of the event?
Blown away. I mean, first of all, the weather in California, you really can't compete with that. But it was a beautiful location, and just to walk into that, and to be there with Liam, who's, for purposes of the event, was in high school, but we know he's less than that. It was like his first gala, and he got to see a great turnout of people from your world and that from the community, and just to see the veterans there with the actual service dogs. Yeah. And understand up front. It was amazing. It was really special to be a part of it. I felt very grateful to have been invited by you and Mimi to be there. And you can't compare with having, as I think I said to you, like a cause that wasn't a solution in search of a problem. They took two things and combined them, and it's just amazing that no one else has been able to have thought of it, but just to help them scale would be great.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree with you, and thank you very much for coming out. It's a blast. Yeah, and you guys all know this because I've had Graham Bloom, who's the founder, on. I've interviewed him twice. It's just, I love the organization. It takes dogs out of shelters, trains them up to be emotional service dogs for vets with PTSD. So if you love vets and you love dogs, check them out. So so Karen used to live out here. They lived in San Francisco,
yes.
20 years ago. So you're
many moons ago.
Yeah. So this is not her first rodeo in San Diego or in LA or California, but we just went we took her and Liam over to Oceanside this afternoon.
You want to talk about why we ended up in Oceanside?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Quick one.
Top Gun, Maverick. I mean,
right.
that was it. So Liam watched that film when I don't remember how old he was, and we've been counting down the days to see the sequel. Went to the sequel, took him, sort of was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna have to do, bracing myself, and absolutely walked out loving the sequel. And so when he heard that the house where Top Gun 1 was filmed could be visited, that was it.
Yep. Yep.
So that was our day.
Yep. And obviously, if you guys are local, you know that they moved the house because it was basically falling apart, and they moved it a block up the beach and turned it into, now it's a bakery. They sell cookies,
delicious rhubarb pies
exactly
of some sort that we ate.
Yep, but it's the Top Gun house, so it's very cool. And as an added benefit, there was a surf competition going on the pier too. So
it's like a full-on ad to get people to move to California
full on
today.
SoCal.
It's like, there's the sunset.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like a rhubarb drink with like a nice pretty flower in it?
Cocktails.
Oh, by the way, there's a surf competition going on over there.
Just awesome.
Just beautiful.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. So anyway, that's why Karen's out here. And in my defense, I threw this on her last minute because I tried to get her. I tried to go through that helps. I've tried to go through all the regular channels of, can you come on and discuss League One volleyball?
Thank you, sir.
And she always kind of gave me the runaround. So I got her here live, and so we're going to go for it. So, all right, give me so. Before you go into League One, kind of give me your background. What were you doing beforehand, and how did you sort of go from that to
right now
League One? Yeah.
So I think you know this, and your listeners may, some of them know, I was the first in my family to go to college. So when I went to college, I really didn't have a game plan in terms of career or what I was going to do going out of it. And I ended up, I think, in law school in Parks. I was a very good student. I went straight from college, from Johns Hopkins, where we were together, to NYU Law, and found myself drawn to sort of the intellectual property, entertainment side of things, probably because my family's involved in entertainment. And so I started my career. My very first job was in an entertainment law firm, and I did that for a couple of years before moving to San Francisco, as you mentioned, and being in the sort of tech side of entertainment media deals. And at a certain point, moved back to New York to be near family, friends, and went, as they say, from law firm life to in-house, and have not looked back from being in-house. So the first company was a big publisher. The second company was the one I spent 14 years at. I would say the one that I identified most of my career with is Tribeca Enterprises, Tribeca Film Festival.
Yep.
And I left Tribeca Film Festival right before COVID. I said I, kind of wanted to leave at the next festival. The COVID thing just timed up perfectly.
Yeah.
And so decided, I was trying to figure out, I was almost 50, what I wanted to do. I just kind of walked away from what I was doing to figure it out, and had all of these things in my life that were bringing me towards sports and women and entertainment and tech, and found myself at this new venture as a 50-plus-year-old person.
Starting
founding
out.
team, like it's
Love
been
it.
really fun.
Love it.
If you go with the people and you go with the mission, I think, I just think it's always the way to go.
Nice. All right. So it's League One Volleyball.
Yes.
Love, LOVB.
Yes.
What is the website? Is it
www.lovb.com.
Gotcha. And it is professional women's sports, exclusively volleyball, or is it?
So we're focused on volleyball, but the actual ecosystem, if you will, of what Love does isn't just the professional league that we're launching. It actually is the entire life of the athlete. So we have a network of clubs within the United States that we partnered with and work with. And so if you have anyone in your family or in your life that plays youth club sports, so having those be a part of the Love framework and working with them. So you have people who will be potentially, the ideal situation is they come and they are playing at a club that is associated with Love, League One Volleyball. 10 years old, 11 years old, we work with them through college. We help them in all these ways. And eventually, wouldn't it be great if they could be on the first indoor volleyball women's league in the United States?
And is that's the end goal? So how far, how far down the road do you think that is?
Sooner than the road keeps moving up, but I would say in the very near future.
Okay.
We will have some announcements
Gotcha.
very quickly.
Gotcha.
Soon.
So when I first wanted to get you on here, I went on and did just a bare minimum of the research, and I didn't realize this, but volleyball is huge.
Huge. It is huge.
Yeah.
It is if you think about sports, and at least in America, where we are in New York City, it's a big part of our life and our community. And young girls have opportunities to play sports that I don't think were necessarily available when you and I, if I can speak for us.
Yeah.
If I can speak for us.
There
We're
you
that
go.
age.
And well done moving your head around.
I know. You
Nice.
told me, you
There
gave me
you
the
go.
direction. I'm
There
sorry.
you go.
I took that. I finally figured the point, but volleyball is huge. It's and when I walk around New York City now, I see all of the outdoor volleyball nets, and maybe they were always there and I just didn't notice them, but it's a huge sport, right above soccer.
Is it really?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing that
It's mind-boggling, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, obviously everybody's seen Olympic, the beach volleyball, but watching the indoor game is just as intense, if
Their
not more.
athletic abilities is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I was telling Brian a story about how at one of our community events of League One Volleyball, people who work for the company and then that we work with getting together, and how they had us line up from shortest to tallest, and how in my life I've never been on the shorter side. I was 4 people in. It was everybody else was over 6 feet.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Incredible athletes.
Now, are they all women?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the idea is for the first indoor women's volleyball league in the United States. Yeah.
Now, is there a men's side of that? Is there like a men's professional league already, or no?
No, there have been attempts in different ways at leagues, but not sort of like the traditional league model of cities.
Gotcha.
That we've talked about before in terms of some of the sports that have moved towards the non-touring model where it's just in that one location, but like the traditional sports model of having cities and team sports. Yeah.
So you right now, how long has it been around, League One? 2 years, 3 years?
So the idea, I started in January of 2021, and there have been people working on it before that.
Okay.
Before that.
And so talk to me. The only thing I can really go off of is the NFL. So every city's got their team. It's owned by an individual, but they're part of a league.
That's one model. That's one model of it. And there's the professional PLL, which I'm sure have people on
which
there
is the professional lacrosse league, who's also a Hopkins grad. Paul Rabel is one who started that. And yeah, my if you haven't seen it on television, I guess it's huge right now. NBC has a contract with them for TV, as does ESPN. That model that we were just talking about, the NFL model, where each city has their own team and kind of people are loyal to the New England Patriots, for example. Whereas
or the New York Jets.
Yeah.
Jets green.
More the Patriots, but we're not going to know. But ELL is more of this traveling kind of tournament vibe. And I've never been a big fan of that. Basically what it is I think there's 8 teams right now, 10 teams, something like that.
And PLL more than I think.
Is there?
I think so.
Okay.
But
they all go to various cities at once and do a tournament throughout the 3 or 4 days or whatever it is. Me personally, no offense, Paul, I love what you're doing. It seems more of a circus than something that I had.
And I said this to you earlier. You and I might be dinosaurs in that regard, because, and I agree with you, rooting for a city or colors and things in a different way, but that the statistics show that the kids, like my son who's upstairs, probably throwing a lacrosse ball at Prince, your kitchen wall.
We can't hear it, thankfully, because we're in a soundproof underground studio.
As we do this, they follow the player. And he has had no problem whatsoever identifying with a particular team in PLL.
Yeah.
I thought he would. I was like, how could you not root for the New Jersey, whatever the team would be, but or the New York team, but they don't identify that way. And it's also the second part about it that's possibly helping. And I love PLL as well and what they've done. Their model is highlights, and it's rare for this generation. Statistically, again, it's just what the researchers show to sit through a whole game in the same way that you and I would watch a game.
Okay.
So that's different too. And I notice it even at home, like he wants the highlight reel.
Yeah. No, I can see that. So, where are we with League One volleyball? What are you guys leaning towards, a certain model, or are you just
honestly, that's partially why I'm here this week. I'll hear what the latest, it's not the sole focus. I've worked with people who focus on different parts of the business plan and what we're doing. And I'm very excited to hear what they're thinking right now. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And you can or cannot name names here. And if you
Not
can't,
yet.
no big deal.
But maybe if you put this out, the names will be there, and then you can like put a little hashtag or
so
something in it.
Again, this is coming from a guy who, the big three: professional football, baseball, basketball, right? And then you got hockey, of course. I'm that guy that, you look at a league, like an up and coming league, like the PLL, it's this revolutionary thing. And it's really cool. And you don't think that there's a lot of money or a lot of star power behind something like that, but believe it or not, there actually is. And that's what League One, you guys have got some serious firepower behind you.
And most importantly, that believe in the mission of it. I think when Brian and I were talking beforehand, I was saying that one of the greatest, I would say joys, that's too hard, but one of the greatest, the delight, is a delight more than a joy? I don't know, but one of the greatest parts about being on the League One team is that truly this genuine belief in the athlete, and how can we empower athletes at every stage in being an athlete, not just as an athlete, but in terms of what they are as, in this case, girls, women, and their community, and empower them. And that have been in so many conversations where things could have been decided one way or the other, and it's just borne out. And so to be surrounded by people who believe we're a for-profit, we're an entity, but like that there can be, have a mission with purpose, and there can still be a way that it can have this return.
You mean capitalism capitalism can coexist with being good people and doing good? Wow, what a surprise. I love it. All right, so let's get back to this, because I'm finding this fascinating. Are you guys, well, it sounds like you're going to go learn more about it this week, but are you guys going to franchise out? So like investors can buy
a franchise in a particular city. That is definitely something that's been talked at and looked at. There's that version. There's the league owned model. There's the version of it that you can base on ownership in professional soccer in the EU, and looking at those models. And everything is changing. Like everything's changing. And one of the things, and I would love to hear your perspective, if I don't know if anyone's ever interviewed the interviewer, but on name, image, likeness. And so NIL rights. Name, image, likeness.
Name what?
Name, image, likeness.
Name, image, likeness. Okay.
Did I slur it? I'm sorry. Well, no, I'm tired. It's not the beer.
It was
name, image, likeness.
And so what is that?
Name, image, likeness.
Oh, is that where people like the college kids
collegiate
got it? Okay, so they can make money off of their
their name and their image and likeness. There you go. So the legal concept has always been there to protect celebrities and their federal, but mostly state rights that you have, and then by contract people endorse a product or not. And the entire fabric of what has happened for collegiate athletes has changed, and it started in earnest within the last 2 years, 4 or 5 years before. But like there are now, it's a completely different proposition for someone. If you're thinking about your child and what is best for them to get an education or whatever you want for them as a path or to support them, and now do you go to a particular school because there are collectives, which is / boosters, who are paying to, so it changes everything. And how we as part of an organization that are hoping to be mission driven from start to finish, how do we play in that? That is fascinating. I'm geeking out a little bit.
No, but that's this is all the stuff about starting a league from scratch that I find fascinating.
And athlete first. Like, so any opportunity we have where something might bend a particular way, like, well, would that be the right thing to do for this potential collegiate athlete, to put them in a position where they may or may not understand what is available to them, not taken from them, but available to them. So it's every day is that sort of opportunity to make a difference.
So what's your day-to-day life like right now? Are you just gobbling up clubs? What's the
I wish I had a day-to-day necessarily, but
are you I would assume the women are at the top of the pro level right now, obviously have agents. So are you negotiating contracts with them?
No, not necessarily in this regard, but that's soon. But there are those relationships that have to be built. And so the pro league, again, looking out runway wise, will have have to have those relationships in place. But the collegiate ones, what's interesting is that there are organizations that are going in now to college. You know, Brian being an All-American Division I athlete.
Hey now.
So there are organizations that are going in and being like, to say a Johns Hopkins, or more likely like an Ohio State or Purdue for football,
Right.
or whatever it is. And they will put someone in place to help be the general manager, to be like a private entity to help
There you go.
run the name, image, likeness for the collegiate athletes, and help the Ohio State football players make the endorsement deals. And so they're bringing in entities to help them, because from the
But wouldn't that
academic
be the kid's agent?
It could be, but they're trying to, yes, everyone's trying to get a piece. Let's
Yeah.
just put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to
Yeah,
say
sure.
it, but like everyone's trying to get a piece. And some of these institutions, I think that the idea is having someone come in will be to have an ability to support the kids who might not
Mhm.
have the agent opportunity to represent them in that regard.
Okay.
So like maybe having a standard office you would go to that would help you with the opportunities that are there. And then there are places like, I can't remember the school in Texas that there was a collective. Now we know it's, you know, from what you read, they're alumni boosters, and they
Yeah.
gave $25,000 to each player on the team. No difference in terms
Yeah.
of starting or not starting. It was, I think, women's basketball team. And so that's another way people are going. It's changing like daily.
Yeah.
I'm not even just daily, like in the middle of the day.
So how do you plan for that then? I mean, so you guys obviously must have a timeline. Okay, by X, we want to either be doing the traveling circus, or we want to have cities set up with.
What helps is that first, to have that true mission first, like athlete first, athlete first, athlete first, and to come back when things come at you, whether it's money coming in and people want to give you money, or opportunities to do this, and say, let's pause for a millisecond and think, is this the right thing for an athlete going forward? And of course, private company, you have responsibilities, but it's to have that sort of North Star.
Yeah.
It's very helpful.
No, I can imagine. So an investor, you guys, it sounds like you pretty much are got all the private equity that you need to do this. What are they getting in return right now? Or is it once they
Besides my chat,
look at the camera when you say that, besides your
personality, not me at all. You know, again, we're focusing on working with people who believe in the mission, and the mission being not just, hey, we're going to be the first American women's indoor professional lacrosse, volleyball league, but like who believe in what that means and how that empowers not just the athlete, but that can empower them not just as an athlete and not just them, but their community. Like there are people, the people we are working with believe in that. I mean, truly feel like it sounds probably a little kumbaya-ish, but I honestly feel that way, that you feel sometimes that special energy. And I was saying to you earlier that I have felt very blessed to kind of go in my life and my career working with people I believe in. And if things change and shift, have had the ability to move myself into a different direction, and that this feels awesome. I really feel like it's
very cool. No, so does Europe have professional women's volleyball?
What's that?
Does Europe have this?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Do they really?
Oh, Europe, yeah.
Really?
So that's what happens. So our American athletes play in the US, and they're on a Division I team, and then they go abroad because they can make money professionally as an athlete. They come back and they play for the US Olympic team. This is a generalization. They win the gold medal, and then they go back and they make the money in Japan or Italy
and that's indoor volleyball, or
indoor? It's indoor.
And how long has that been around? And are they making good livings over there?
They make good livings, not like
they're not like Michael Jordan.
They're not Michael Jordan. I mean, who is? But you can understand it. But the thing is that I have understood from talking with some of the professional athletes what it's like to be there, is that you can't, just like, I mean, California to New York coming here. If you were in Europe and something happened where you had to get back in your professional athlete, not being able to take the time to come back if someone in your family were sick, like in COVID, I think COVID emphasized a little bit how distant you might feel from your home, whatever your life is that you have here, that you want to build that community, and you're just so far away and you can't come back. So to have the option to do both ish would be great.
Yeah. And then again, this is what I find fascinating, because you always think about, especially in basketball, because that seems to be the most prevalent, the European basketball leagues, you always think of that as a step down from the NBA, which, and it probably 95% that's accurate. But for the athletes in the not so popular sports like volleyball, or not so popular is the wrong word because it actually is very popular, but not so mainstream.
Yeah.
That's the only place to go right now to get paid
for that period of time. And then again, they come back, and these women who won our national, the team that won the gold, that, they went and they did that, and they came back, and that was the opportunity available to them. Dina Malton from Hopkins, you know her?
Yeah.
So she lives in Turkey, and it's like she said, you've got to come over here. It's a major event to go to watch a women's volleyball.
Really?
It's like 20,000 people go to watch women's volleyball in Turkey.
That's huge. Awesome. That's awesome. So, and that's what you guys are trying to do in the United States.
Towards, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are those, so let's just use Turkey as an example. That country, is that body that runs the volleyball professional league, are they doing all that stuff starting from when they're kids and working their way through kind of
I don't
feeder
know
systems?
rules over there. Like I can't.
Sounds like a business trip to go see Dita.
I love it. I love the idea of it. Yeah.
And actually, I'd love to join you, and I can do a podcast.
Yeah.
Boom. Right off
Done.
all
Love
all
it.
around.
I think it's a great idea.
And we get to go see Turkey.
Yeah. I mean, I really have wanted to go to Turkey for a really long time.
Way high on my bucket list.
Also, Barcelona's on the list of places to go for volleyball. Really? Yeah. So we can set that up.
Yeah. All right. So it's in the news right now, fresh in the news. Is it Gaynor, the basketball, the WNBA basketball player? No. What I'm getting at is, was she playing? Was her team? Was she playing for a Russian professional team, or what was?
Yes, I believe she was, but I honestly haven't followed it as closely as I should, or been able.
I'm just curious because that seems like it's.
So you can think about it in that regard about the opportunity to go play internationally that way, and Brittany Green.
Yeah, no, and that's just a bad scene all around. All right, so back to League One volleyball.
But can we also talk about the
name
image? Like,
sorry, go. What were you?
I want to get your thoughts as being an athlete who, I mean, Johns Hopkins lacrosse, storied lacrosse program. The idea, I mean, Hopkins maybe didn't monetize it in the way that you would at a Big Ten football school in the Midwest. But if the idea was that you could possibly have an endorsement deal, there's a little bit of income, and I don't know how much came to Hopkins from the relationship to the athletes, but I just think it's just such an interesting thing. Like I was not a Division I athlete, so I don't really know what it feel like to have this new world of potential opportunity open up to me, but also how could that maybe affect my relationship with my teammates? Right. I'm sorry, I'm going that way. Yeah. Like what would it be like if you were the person that got the endorsement offers and you guys were and are so close, but what would it mean if there was a superstar now? So
again, when I played was in the late 80s and the early 90s.
I saw from your stick earlier today.
I know. So her 12-year-old son?
He's 12 and a half, but for purposes of last night, he was 15.
For the purposes of getting into the gala. He takes a look at my old thing and he's like, dude, this is like a goalie stick. Just embarrassing.
The tennis.
Yeah, come on. Technology, things change. Anyway, back in the day, and there was no professional lacrosse, so there's no going beyond. There was like the world team and that sort of thing, but that was really. And then there was also indoor lacrosse. Surprisingly enough, played indoor in the hockey rinks. That's lacrosse. Been around forever.
And there were trips to Australia and Japan. Like there were trips internationally.
Yep.
Sport.
Yep. But I guess you asked me what my thought on it was, is, what would that have been like if there was
Ian Hobbs got an offer to endorse
or the three
sneaker.
Yeah. The three top guys on the team, Petro, QK, let's say Matt Panetta, those three guys.
Okay.
Because they were the way I would have looked at that. I don't think I would have looked at that jealously, because they were the faces. They were the face of that program.
I know, and so, I understand that.
And for me personally, having a full athletic scholarship was enough in terms of that. So
congratulations! I did not know that.
Yeah. It didn't start off at full, but eventually it got there.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
But I will come back to it. And I'm serious, like about thinking about it and how it impacts athletes. And we talk to athletes in schools all the time to understand what the opportunities are.
Well, I think what's going to happen is just the college experience. I mean, the college experience already for a dude who plays football at Alabama is not really college. That's just, he's basically in the minor leagues of the NFL, and he's going immediately to the NFL.
Yeah.
But now, you know, things are changing because there's now professional leagues with all these sports. Then it's starting to get a little bit, you know, across the board. You're going to start to see.
You know what's also changed is social media and the phone. It's like the phone I have here.
Yeah.
Been watching the captain Derek Jeter's docuseries with Liam, and I've just mentioned his name, and I keep remembering that I'm trying to keep him private. But one of the things that Derek Jeter said in one of the episodes was that if there had been phones, his career would have ended after 3 seasons. Because just not because he was doing anything badly, but because it can be portrayed in a particular way, being out in a club, whatever it was, that it could be portrayed. I mean, obviously he conducted himself really well on the field and off, but that's another thing that's changed with with sports.
And again, we're going to get off on a little bit of a tangent here in terms of the social media.
I'm not a fan.
No, nor am I.
Okay.
It's just a necessary evil.
Which is why I'm on your podcast.
No, this is good. We're promoting League One Volleyball.
It's great.
LOVB.com.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, check it out. It's actually, I find it fascinating because I'm such a knuckle dragger traditionalist, NFL, NBA, NHL, you know, and after that.
Wait a second. What NHL team do you root for?
The Bruins. Come on.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can stay
Hold
here
on,
tonight.
folks. New England Patriots,
Jets.
Boston Red Sox,
Yankees.
Boston Celtics.
I don't really care about the Knicks, but I would have to go that way.
And the Boston Bruins.
Rangers. I mean, wow. It's just.
You know what? We're going to agree to disagree on that. We've had a great relationship for these last 32 years. I don't see any reason to.
Well, we can also meet halfway because I don't root against Tom Brady. Would you not root against my New York Rangers?
I will say this.
Oh,
no, I will say this. Mark Messier is one of my favorites.
Okay. I will. I will. That is sufficient for now.
Anyway. Yeah. My original point was a guy like me, and I would have to imagine, and not just a guy, but people like me who just have those sort of 4 core things, and you don't really look much beyond that in terms of sports. I love watching sports. I mean, just anything in that type of, like the surfers today. I thought that was awesome. It was
amazing. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing.
But you don't really think about, if it's not in your radar, you're not really thinking about it. And that's why this whole volleyball thing is fascinating, because of it's just underneath the surface, and there's a lot of them.
And isn't that also a testament to us getting out, each of us, out of our little bubble and seeing more of the world, which is why Liam is here this week in particular. So, he said, "Can I go with you on this work trip?" And obviously seeing that I was going to come and see you and Mimi and go to this gala, I was like, this is awesome. And for him to see, and he's been asking so many questions about, like, do kids play lacrosse in California? And just like, yes, they do. Yeah. There's a lacrosse scene here, and getting outside our own little worlds. Even at 50 plus. Yeah, no, that's important.
Absolutely. Man, I would love to readdress that whole turkey thing with Dita, to go check that out.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Oh God.
So awesome. I was also, we have a lot of very successful friends from Hopkins. Successful is the wrong word. Generous and successful. And one who is also in Europe is Jill Litt. I don't know if I should speak that much about friends. You can edit this out, right? So Jill Litt, her son has been signed to a soccer team in Europe.
I think I heard that. I think I heard about that.
And so she's going through it at a different level than we can possibly imagine, like what she's experiencing, like professional soccer in Europe. And she's invited. There's some big cup in February, and she's like, if you would like to come over. For Liam to see what professional sports looks like in Europe. And I'm like, is that an invitation to Barcelona? I think we might be able to work that in.
Well, and I mean, think about it. That's what you guys are doing at League One. Yes. Eventually you're going to have that.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah.
Wow. And is it too early in the process right now to be even thinking about putting together some kind of relationship with the European professional leagues that are already established?
It's a part of it all. This has been going on. Those conversations that you're talking about precede my even working with.
By how, like if people have been thinking about this
for a long time. Yeah. I don't know. It's when, as someone who didn't play volleyball and didn't have anyone in my life who played volleyball, maybe like you, I was surprised when I saw it. I saw it on a piece of paper and I looked at its statistics. I looked at the market cap. I looked at what was happening. Thought, oh, this is unbelievable. How many players there are in the US that played this sport and that they don't have an opportunity. There's not an opportunity. There's none. It doesn't exist right now to do it in a traditional sort of league model. And so the best of the best find themselves going abroad and playing internationally, and then again coming back and playing for our US Olympic team, and then going back and forth. So for them to have multiple options just feels exciting to be a part of. And I have seen beach volleyball. You might, especially here in California, have seen like ATV was a right. So they have had the beach volleyball sort of that model out there for a bit. But
what does ATV stand for, dude? Okay.
I'm terrible with names.
And so
it's probably not even ATV. It's probably like AVT or something.
But I was actually thinking about that because you get guys like Karts Karai, who's a legend in beach volleyball. And from like the 80s and the 90s.
Look at you.
Oh yeah. No.
What?
To watch people, humans, women or men in beach volleyball. It's
awesome. Unbelievable, right?
And then just go try to do that just on a random day and just jump. Actually, not even volleyball. Just go into the sand and run around in the sand for
try
10
and
minutes.
Catch a ball in the sand. And then when you like appreciate
so there's no doubt that the athleticism is there, but like that, whatever it was, ATV or whatever, those guys were making like $500. You know, they had those big cheesy checks for $1,000.
That's what they did in PLL, right? They changed it. They changed the model. Like now my son aspires to be a professional player for PLL. And he's like, he looks at it and he's like, this is an option for me. And I'm like, whatever you want to do.
So that's where we are with volleyball then?
Not yet, but hopefully we'll lay the groundwork for it.
Okay. So we are literally, so you've been with them for almost 2 years, right?
Is that right? Oh my God.
Or over a year.
I started in January. My first day was January 4th, 2021.
Okay. So yeah, it'll be 2 years in January. So a year and a half.
It just went by very fast.
So
you like what you do, I guess.
But so it's you and whoever came up with this idea. Is that person, they just love volleyball, or they were professional?
The idea came from sort of self-admittedly volley dads, someone whose daughter played and loved volleyball and saw it. And it was not like even something that was looked at first in terms of like an opportunity to establish a for-profit. It was just like thinking about the community volleyball and how to connect it. And that person connected with some of the people they had worked with previously. And then it's been like the interview process with League One was crazy in the sense that I didn't quite know I was interviewing for a job. I just was talking to a friend and they said, could you talk to a different person about something that they just launched, and just paid it forward a little bit, talk. And every person I met in this conversational path for like a week, I loved. And at the end of it, realized they're looking for someone willing to kind of jump in and lean into it. And it's a great team.
Okay. I love it. Okay. So I'm still trying to get my head around this. You are going out to wealthy investors, invest in League One volleyball. And aside from the concept of bringing women up and empowering women and those things, what are they getting? What is their return on their investment going to be? Is it going to be ticket sales from events? What
are you asking for our business model?
I'm just trying to understand how do you pitch somebody to invest in this thing?
Well, I guess the simplest way to just put it is that it is a sport that has tremendous demographics in terms of people playing, but also people viewing it and watching it. And so when they've televised matches,
so television contracts, all those sorts of things.
The PLL has set a great example for what's possible for, they call it a niche sport. They're not niche sports. They are like played everywhere, but they're,
it's kind of like the X Games. They used to be this sort of crazy, but now everybody is has a skateboard.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Liam wants to be like a snowboarder, but I do know that being a
Dude,
professional
that
lacrosse
guy-
player is
that
something
guy-
that's now in
That
his.
guy thinks that anything outside of Long Island is like the hinterlands.
My son loves Long Island. I do.
I know.
He
I
does.
know.
He does. It's a beautiful place.
Again, Boston Celtics, Red Sox,
Oh.
Bruins, New England Patriots.
Yeah.
All right. So,
You're
okay.
on the wrong side of history. That's
All
all I
right.
have to say.
So, gosh. All right. So here we go. So you're in town
Yeah.
for the annual meeting.
Yeah.
And a lot of this stuff is going to be settled or discussed or.
Well, so one of the things was as I take a step back and think about the last year or two, and I can't even believe it's been that long when
I
you
know.
said it to me earlier, is this company was formed and the mission was put in motion during COVID. So
But there was a dad. The dad's like, okay, we got something here.
And worked with people and friends and got it going.
And then when COVID
But
hit,
like-
they're like, okay, now is the time. Or what's the
that precedes me. So
Okay.
I don't know. I don't want to speak of the history without knowing it completely. But
Yeah.
what I do know is that when I went to my first work meetings on that January 4th meeting, they were all Zooms, multiple. And I'm sure all of us can relate to like business it was as if I was in the office every day, but I was just in the Zooms.
Right.
Now, Liam, who's sitting here listening, heard all of this in the background. I mean, he's heard that I was on
Yeah.
camera, if you will, like all day, every day.
Yeah.
With these people. And so the ability to get together in person, the first time we were able to do that really as a company, as a sort of family was last August when I
Gotcha.
came out
Yeah.
and saw you guys. And now again, and so it'll be an annual thing. And it's meant as much to talk about the business plan. I'm sorry, let me say it differently. It's meant to connect in person.
Right.
As much as it is about
Yeah.
business plan, is have those sort of just meeting the person you've been working with.
Yeah. No,
On
yeah.
Zoom 24 hours a day
Yep.
for months,
Yep.
and learn from each other. And there are lots of fun little activities planned. So
Yeah.
we're in Surf City for
Nice.
the week.
All right. So one of my very good friends, also a Hopkins grad, several years ago took a job with USA Cycling as one on their fundraising side, right?
Okay, I didn't know that. I don't think I knew that.
And so USA Cycling basically said, you're going to become a cyclist. And so they
Have
got
you
it.
ever cycled
No.
before?
No.
Oh.
So literally full gear, full bike, the whole thing. And he actually became a very good cyclist because their idea was, if you're going to be out there promoting USA
Mhm.
Cycling, you better have shaved legs and the whole 9 yards, like a professional cyclist. And so he did that. And my understanding was he really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know, he'd go over to France during the Tour de France and they'd ride. And so he was he has since left USA Cycling. But what I'm getting at, and my next question is, do you have to be a volleyball? Do you have to know anything about volleyball to be doing what you're doing?
Well, you need to know a teeny bit, but this actually the opposite thesis, I think I would say the founders probably had, which was they brought together people who were the best in volleyball, who are also attorneys and media entertainment transactions. And then they looked at people who are on the finance side, who they brought together people who are specialists and great. Did I just call myself great on your podcast, Brian?
I think she did, but you know what? In her defense, it's late because we're like I said earlier, we're doing a late night recording here.
I take it back.
No, you are great.
So they brought together people, and then also ones who they really felt it's really connection and collaborative driven. So we have to work well together. But I've heard our CEO Caitlin say, in different capacities in different areas, like we might not have someone who is an attorney who played volleyball or went to law school to understand the whatever specialized in sports law, but this is someone who works well and fits in, and we just fit in like jigsaw puzzle. I don't know how to describe it otherwise, but it's not the US Cycling version of it. And
your obviously your experience in entertainment law obviously translates.
That helped. I mean, tremendously. I think corporate law in general, and then technology, and just being a generalist, general counsel as a generalist. And I had been a general counsel at Tribeca for 14 years. So it's literally everything, real estate, HR, litigation, just everything. That's what your general counsel. Yeah. But the entertainment part of it, I think, was especially helpful because athletes, much like the talent that you have in films, their, if you want to say product, I hate to use it, but that it's themselves, right? So if you injure yourself or something happens, so being able to understand a business that's driven or based on human beings in that capacity was different.
You know,
you want to come work with us, Brian?
What's that?
You want to come work with us?
I'll get the coffee and I'll drive the president around.
Okay.
So you just kind of rolled your eyes and you said the athletes, they're the product.
I mean, because
Why?
I can't, why? Because why would I describe someone as a product? But
because that's what it is. And they know that. Athletes know that going in.
It was actually one of the person I heard who said that was an athlete. It was this woman, Angela Ruggiero, who runs, who was on the women's U.S. hockey team and founded something that is focused on sports and women in tech. And anyway, so she said in a kind of conference that she realized when she was in college that she was the product. She was a brand. Yeah. And I remember thinking to myself when she was describing it, I was like, she was 19 years old. I know for
image, likeness.
And I'm like, I for sure was not responsible enough in that regard when I was 19 years old, but she had tremendous prescience about where things were going. And so, but she did say like, we are the product. I don't know. It feels diminishing to describe.
Why is that diminishing?
Because their hopes and aspirations and a whole bunch of other things.
It's all built into it. It's all, why it is? The exact opposite. I think the exact opposite.
I'll tell you why. Okay. Because we as a company don't think of the athletes as products.
Gotcha.
They're not cogs. They're each individuals that have dreams and hopes and abilities that we want to help support. So to call anyone a product feels, it feels, I don't know what the right word is, but it just,
into the microphone.
I didn't want to say that one in the microphone, but it's diminishing to them as individuals. And that's not what the word we're athletes.
I personally disagree. But that's totally fine.
You were also wrong about Tom Brady and the Patriots, but it's okay.
Anyway, so
I don't dislike Tom Brady.
Yeah, the guy's 45 years old.
Good God
it's
bless.
Crazy.
You know? Yeah.
All right. So League One Volleyball, LOVB.com.
And Instagram. Instagram is really where we have some great stories.
So give it out. What are the socials? Is it at LOVB? At LOVB and TikTok?
At League One. At League One.
League One
Volleyball. Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of,
and we've been in stealth mode, so that's why.
You've been in what is that?
Stealth mode.
Stealth mode. Gotcha. Because you're still you're laying the foundation right now, right?
That's right. And so part of my dancing around the podcast was a little bit more like, I can't really talk about much.
No, and that's, believe me, guys, I knew that was going to be an issue because obviously it's a brand new thing. Of course, there's going to be some level of confidentiality and things that she can't talk about. Yeah. I was more interested in the big idea, the stuff that we were talking about. Like, how does League One Volleyball become the NFL?
Does League One Volleyball want to be the NFL?
Again, that's exactly because I find that fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
Does League One Volleyball want to be the NFL? And hold on, this could be, no.
That's above my pay grade to answer that.
There you go. But again, that's what I find fascinating. Mm-hmm. And that's why I picked a person like you.
So you're thinking really big. And I honestly, the thing that has been so tremendously fulfilling about this job is to be small and just keep going back. I know it sounds like athlete first. And so just keep.
You're down there picking up one piece of grass and cutting each individual.
I'm trimming the bonsai tree.
I would assume your boss, the one who started this whole thing, she's got the big.
She has it all. She's a conductor. Yeah. I tell her off, and then I think that she's amazing at her job, but she's like conducting, like there are different parts and she brings out the best, but she knows what the pieces that we're playing. Yeah. All of us. Yeah. We have a little role to play.
So that's, all right. You've been there for basically a little over a year and a half. Mm-hmm. Things are great because it's fresh. It's exciting. It's all those things. Is this obviously you're in it from the very beginning. So you at least want to see it get to the point of X.
Yeah, I don't see any end to the runway of how long I would like to be involved in it. I
Gotcha.
feel that good about
Nice.
where it's going. And I'd say we had a conversation once, my colleagues and I, about why everything was great or why what we liked. And I would say that the best part of it is not that everything's always been awesome. It's been that when it has gone wrong or there's been difficulties or
Yeah.
things come up, tensions, it's a very pick up the phone, call, direct place. It's again the genuine commitment to the mission. You just cut through a lot of the ego stuff.
Yeah.
That sounds like
Very
an
cool.
ad, but that is
So
really been the way it's
how
been.
big are you guys right now? How big is the organization right now?
So full time. So we own a lot, are partnered with a lot of these clubs.
Okay.
But
no, like you and
our
10 other people
our corporate
are
headquarters is, yeah, let's say roughly around that.
Yeah.
Like
And then,
the core.
so you got the core, and then you are obviously have partnerships with,
Yeah.
are we all over the country yet? Or
we are all over the country,
Okay.
and I'm not sure how many we have announced. I think we'll be announcing this week the total. We've been out a little bit. I mean, there are some of our affiliated clubs that mention us in their social media all the time.
Yeah.
But it has been a fun, exciting process, and I would say if you looked at a map, which I hope I could share with Matt with you on the next time I'm on,
which would be after your meeting on Friday. Before
I would say in
back.
the fall, I'll
Okay.
yeah. But that they'll be able to be like, here's the map, and it'll show you where we are, and you'll
Very
be excited.
cool. Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I love the map. I love the little map when they show us everywhere we've gone, because to know that you've done it. Yeah.
Evil takeover of the world
of America.
All right. So last parting comments. League One Volleyball.
Yeah.
Brand new professional volleyball
organization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we still don't know.
We're more than a league. We're more than a potential professional league. It's the organization is, again, all of these youth clubs, and Liam, who's off camera right now, but having a son that plays club sports, and anyone who's listening and understands this, it's like, it's a huge commitment by these families to be a part of it. And so our organization wants to make there be, kind of common understanding about what it means to play volleyball. When you're with League One Volleyball, it means a certain thing, good, safety, etc. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not leaning in. I apologize.
Nice. There you go. There you go. All right. So League One Volleyball, LOVB.com.
Yeah.
It is a fascinating exercise in how to start something from scratch. However, that was not from scratch.
No, not from scratch. And I would say that the thing that has sort of resonated with me as I take a step back is that we're in our 50s. We can say this, yeah?
Yeah.
And
you can say whatever you want.
I can say whatever I want.
You're
it's America.
30. You're 30. And I have to say, yes, Karen, you are 30.
Okay. But to do this and to take a risk and a chance when you believe in something, you believe in people. I mean, I really feel hopeful. One of the reasons why I'm really excited about how this has turned out was taking a chance on believing in something, and my son and my family, my nieces, my young nieces who play sports, seeing it and saying, no, you don't have to check out. You don't have to you're not in the back nine necessarily. Nice. You can start and be who you want it to be. Yeah. It's never too late to try it. So if you're fortunate, enough to have family and friends that can support you, and as I do.
Yeah.
So that would be my parting shot.
All right. So Karen Lorenzo.
Yeah.
Shaw Lorenzo, corporate
general
counsel for League One Volleyball.
Yeah. Brian Lucas, All-American all the time.
A long time ago. All right. So one last parting shot. What do you think? Was this okay?
Oh, so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I wish I had, I felt like I've watched all of them, almost all of them, because I don't remember you interviewing the guy from Shelter to Soldier. That's very difficult to say. So I didn't see Graham's, but that everybody was really on point and spoke to things. So I don't know if I hit points that were.
My goal was to understand League One Volleyball. What is it? How do you start a professional league from scratch? And I feel like I know it a lot better than I did 2 hours ago.
Good. Can we get Liam in here for a second?
Negative.
No.
Negative. Oh. It's an age thing.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
So
Didn't know.
and by the way, that is not her son's name. That's a code name that we used all night long.
His name's not Liam.
So, all right. So Karen Shaw Lorenzo, no, you're good. You're good. An old dear friend who is killing it right now
And having fun,
doing great things. 3 or 4 years down the road, you're going to see League One volleyball on television, and it's going to be very cool. And I look forward to hearing about all the new developments of this thing. This week is big. So that's the reason why I wanted to have her on. Aside from the fact that she's a great friend, she's doing a really cool thing. And
Thanks, B.
I personally wanted to know about it. And so I figure if I did, there are other people out there that want to know what's going on.
I did say if we do launch a pro league, number 36 has to be reserved for the All-Star.
Boom. Boom. All right. Hey guys.
That's it.
That is it. All right, guys. This is the Rain Man. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Rain Man's Take, observations on the world we live in. If you like the content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. You can also follow Rain Man's Take on Instagram at Rain Man's Take. Also, check out our website at www.rainmanstakepodcast.com and send your comments to rainmanstake@gmail.com. Keep an eye out for future podcasts, which will be coming out every Thursday at 5 p.m. West Coast time.